And because of all those books, it led me to the book that y'all chose. I promised the people who helped me do all those books that I would do them their own book someday. But oddly enough, big New York publishers were not exactly thrilled to tell the story of mill workers, failed mills, and laid off workers in the Deep South. So we more or less did it for the sake of keeping a promise. And because an old man grabbed me by the elbow at a high school graduation in my home county, squeezed it real hard and said, "You promised us you'd do us a book." And he scared me a little, so I ran out and did it. Because the one thing you know about our people is generationally, you do not mess with a grandfather. Look at my hands. I got 13-year-old girl hands. They got hands that look like a baseball mitt. They check to see if the ignition is firing on their truck by grabbing hold of the coil wire and telling you to go in and turn the key. And if it makes their hair stand up, it's firing all right. Those are our people. And they're your people, too. So it's even more of an honor to stand here. Do a lot of book talks in places where I'm on safari. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like some guy that they dragged out of the Museum of Natural History and stood him up in front of the Yankees and said, "Listen to him, don't he sound pretty?" It happens all the time. But I don't think I have to do that today. So I really would rather talk with you than talk at you. So we'll have, I hope, a long, it's right to have a Q&A, right? Have a long Q&A, and if you don't have a question to ask, you better think of one. Because otherwise we're just going to lock the door and stay in here until Thursday. Wait, is it Thursday? Product of the Alabama public school system. Are there any nursing students out there? Any nurses? Oh, God help me. We were talking about senses of humor early on, and you know, you don't mess with grandfathers and you do not mess with nurses. And we were talking about, and I couldn't tell this story at lunch because it's just not a story you can tell at lunch. But now that we've had the highbrow portion of the afternoon completed, give me some idea of the way my people are. We are scared of nurses. We're scared of lawyers. We're scared of doctors. We're scared of accountants. We're scared of the clerk at the DMV. We are not scared of any football team anywhere on God's earth. With all due respect, Mr. President, Spurrier don't scare us. Not this year. Not this year. But we're scared, and I am scared of nurses. I mean it. If I know going in that you're nurses, like, see, now I know you're a nurse. See, but if I know going in that someone is a nurse, I'm going to be respectful and quiet and mumble, "Yes, ma'am," because you know, they hold such power. Anyone in you gentlemen, young man, you look like you might have seen your 40th birthday. Have you ever experienced the joy of a kidney stone? I guess not.
Not yet.
Anyone ever have? Fun, ain't it? I had a kidney stone. It traveled through my insides, through my kidney. It was the size of a cat-eye marble. And then it stopped. And I began to die. So I went to the hospital, which is full of nurses. And I said, I am dying. And the nurse said, oh, hush, you are not. And I said, no, I think I am. And the doctor came in, and the doctor was concerned. The doctor was mightily concerned, and he said, we have a terrible situation. The stone has progressed as far as it can progress. And we must push the stone back up into your kidney. And they did that with a pine cone screwed to the end of the thing that I use to clean my over and under shotgun. And all the English professors are out there going like, this ain't what we expected. But then they push it back up there, and then they cut it out. And it was going to be, and it was terrible until they wheeled me into the operating room, and they got me in there, and there's something just unseemly about a big man in a hospital gown anyway. But they took it away. They took it away. And they put you in this, it would be like laying me across this lectern. And my head was down here, and my heels were down here, and all the rest of me, and I'm 6'2", was pointing up at the sky. And they gave me the gas. And I thought, well, this is nice. And I looked at the nurses and I said, this is nice, ain't it? And that, I began to drift and swoon. And the last thing I heard before I passed out, and this is why you should never care about celebrity as a writer. The last thing I heard before I passed out from the 8 or 9 nurses, why it takes 9 nurses to do that, I will never know. But one nurse, that's Rick Bragg. Other nurse, is that him? It is. My mama loves him. Nurse number 4, different voice. My grandma's got every book he's ever done. They made me read his book in school. Then I passed out. Secure in the knowledge that their last memory of me would be that. That no matter what beauty I had written, what lovely phrases I had cobbled together, their only thought of me, if they ever thought of me at all, would be that. So I don't take myself very seriously when it comes to this stuff. A lot of people say that, but I have proved it in that saddle in St. Vincent's Hospital. But, our people don't take ourselves that seriously. We can talk through even a baby. Bring him up here, I'll hold him. I've got several. Oh, that's a good looking boy. Is that a little boy or a little girl? She's a bruiser. Good looking youngster. See? They stop crying as soon as I stop talking. I have that effect on women. Okay. I can make grown women cry, but little ones, I just make anyway. But there is you can't afford in this craft to take yourself that seriously. Technically, I am a freshman at Jacksonville State University. And I just stopped telling people whether or not I'd graduated. But my craft was different in 1977. Now, you need that scrap of paper. You need that scrap of paper. This world has changed. It is harder to make a living now, I don't have to tell you, than ever before. And any step up, any toehold, you need that scrap of paper. Colleges like this kick that door open so you can get that hold. So it's another reason why it's a pleasure to come here. And also because I don't need that interpreter. You know, no one today will walk up to me and say, just say something. I did a talk up north, and they literally said, come on, just say something. And I said, what? She said, oh, like that. Say something like that. When I was 33, I got a Neiman Fellowship to Harvard University. And you kind of win it. You know, you have to do some things in your craft. And I'd gone to Haiti and got shot at and been hit in the head with a chunk of concrete in a race riot in Miami. So I earned it. You know, won an award or two. But before I could go up there, I had to go home and see my people. And this was another way to not get so full of your little self. I sat down in my mama's living room and I saw a pickup pull up in the yard, and it's my brother Sam. You don't wait for people to knock on your door when a car pulls up in your driveway. You go out and write. And so I went outside, and he lived right next to my mom at the time, and I just stood on one side of the pickup bed, and he stood on the other side of the pickup bed. And we listened to his dogs bay. Coon dogs, blue ticks, red bones, black and tans. Beautiful dogs. Kind of dogs that you touch them and they're all quivering muscle. Bloodline going back to the Revolutionary War. Poor men have coon dogs. Rich men have foxhounds. Remember that. And as we stood out there in the yard, it's like a magnet. All my cousins saw us and turned in because we were doing something important. We were standing at the bed of the pickup truck. Some of them may have been on their way to work. They didn't care. And within 15 or 20 minutes, no, probably more like an hour, there are 5 or 6 or 7 men standing around the bed of that pickup truck. And depending on their affiliation, if they were Congregational Holiness, they'd be drinking Coca-Cola. If they were Backslid Baptist, there'd be some beer in there. No offense. I did say backslid. And we just talk or not talk. And this is how you know you're genuine down here.